Good day everyone, my name is Meike Sukmadewi Hidayat, number metric 297050, and today our presentation is about ideology, which refers to a system of ideas and beliefs that shape how people understand truth, knowledge, and society. Ideology influences how humans think about science, rationality, and the world around them. In Chapter 7, we focus on two major ideologies, modernisms and postmodernisms. Modernisms developed during Enlightenment period and emphasize rational thinking, science, and objectify as the main sources of truth. In contrast, postmodernisms emerged in the 60s as a reaction against modernism, questioning the idea that science alone can provide absolute truth. In this presentation, our group will be discussing the concept of modernism and its key philosophers, the main features of modernist thought, postmodernism and its criticism of science and rationality, Thomas Kuhn's view on science, and the last one is the idea of relativism and the criticisms against it. This will help us understand the ongoing debate between modernists and postmodernists' views of knowledge.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Bilal Ahmed, metric number 302505, and this is continuation for my part defining relativism. So, relativism is the philosophical idea that truth, knowledge, and moral values are not obsolete, but instead depend on the context, such as culture, society, or personal beliefs. This means that what is considered right or wrong can differ from one group or individual to another. So that means it can vary from one society or individual to another. For example, a practice that is morally acceptable in one culture may be considered wrong in another. So relativism teaches us that perspective matters and truth can vary depending on where we stand.
My name is Fattan Alvaro Herlambang, and my matrix number is 309060. Modernism is a movement that marks a clear break from traditional ideas, style, and conventions. It emerged as a response to rapid change in society, technology, and culture, especially during the modern era. Modernism emphasized experimentations and individual expressions. Instead of focusing on realism, modernist work often present abstract, fragmented, or subjective perspective. Through this approach, modernists explore themes such as alienations, uncertainty, and the search for meaning in a rapidly changing world.
Hello
Thank you.
everyone, my name is Nazwa Danil and my number metric is 297202. Today, I want to explain two big movements, which is modernism and the Enlightenment. Modernism came in the late 18th and early centuries. It was about breaking old rules in art, writing, and design. People want new styles that match a fast-changing world. Writers like James Joyce use new ways of storytelling. Artists like Picasso painting in bold, abstract ways, architect build simple, and also modern buildings. The main idea was leave tradition behind and create something fresh. Besides that, the Enlightenment happened earlier in the 16th and 17th centuries. It was called the Age of Reason. Thinking like Voltaire, Locke, and Rousseau believe people should use reason and science instead of superstition. They want freedom, equity, and education for everyone. Their ideas help inspire revolution and shape modern democracy. So, in the conclusion, modernism focused on the new creative style, while the Enlightenment focused on reason and human rights. Both changed the way people saw the world and pushed society forward.
Hello, Assalamu alaikum everyone, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. and my name is Mohamed abdihakin khalif, and my matric number 303071, and I'm also continue my bat, and my bat is like a key philosopher of modernism, and introduce main philosophers and key philosophers of modernism. And first philosopher is René Descartes. René Descartes, first philosopher. And reason is the source of knowledge. He said, I think, therefore I am. And second philosopher is John and Locke. John Locke, like he say, knowledge comes from experience, like blank slate. And third philosopher is Emmanuel Kant. And mind shapes how we understand in reality. And like fourth philosopher is Karl Marx. Karl Marx, and society is shaped by the economy and also say class struggle. And last one is Friedrich Naturalist, and he say like an involves individual freedom and self-creation, and that's it. My philosophers and introduce it, what they do and what they say, and thank you.
Modernism believes that science and rational thinking can explain everything and lead us to absolute truth. Postmodernism challenges this idea. Postmodernism emerged as a reaction to modernism, arguing that humans are not only logical beings. We are shaped by emotions, culture, beliefs, and society, and these factors influence how we understand reality. From a postmodernist perspective, knowledge is not always objective. Science and truth can be influenced by social interest and human values. Because of this, postmodernists reject the idea of an absolute truth and accept that reality can be understood from multiple perspectives. In short, while modernism seeks certainty, postmodernism teaches us to question and reflect on how knowledge is formed. Thank you. Modernism believes that science and rational thinking.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Teymourian Ajie Narendra. My matrix number is 309017. So now my main topics is criticism of science and rationality, opposition to objectivity and science. And I will briefly explain the main topics. First, critics argue that science is not completely objective. Scientific knowledge is influenced by human values, culture, and interests. Scientists choose what to study and how to interpret data, so science cannot be fully natural. Second, critics point out the limits of rationality. Not all aspects of human life can be explained by logic and scientific methods. Emotions, ethics, spirituality, and moral values are important but cannot be measured scientifically. Critics also question the idea of one universal truth. Different cultures have their own ways of understanding the world, and scientific knowledge should not dismiss traditional or cultural knowledge. In conclusion, critics do not reject science entirely. They argue that science should work alongside ethics, culture, and human values to create a more balanced and responsible approach to knowledge. Thank you.
Next up is Thomas Kuhn's view. So, Thomas Kuhn challenged the idea that science is a straight path to truth. He argued that scientists work inside an accepted rule book called a paradigm, or you can call it normal science. Progress is not just adding facts, but occurs when unsolved problems or anomalies cause a crisis. leading to a sudden paradigm shift or revolution. This shift is radical because the new and old ideas are incommensurable, so they can be judged by same rules, but we need to show that but it's showing that the science changed through revolutionary leaps based on community acceptance, not just pure logic.
Now I would like to explain about the problems and criticism of relativism. So why is relativism is criticized? Relativism is criticized because it has several logical and practical problems. Many people believe that relativism cannot fully support its own ideas. The first point, it contradicts itself. Relativism says that there is no absolute truth. However, the statement is said as it is completely true. But if there is no absolute truth is true, then absolute truth actually exists. And if it is not true, then we cannot trust the statement. So relativism ends up going against itself, which makes it logically weak. The second point is it rejects absolute truth. Many belief systems, especially religious and moral beliefs, are based on clear and fixed truth. Relativism says that truth depends on personal opinion or culture. This weakens wrong belief because nothing is seen as fully right or fully true. The third point, it causes a moral confusion. If truth is different for everyone, then right and wrong also become different for everyone. This makes it hard to judge and bad action or say that something is clearly.
In conclusion, modernism and postmodernism highlights two very different ways of understanding knowledge, truth, and human progress. Modernism, which emerged from the Enlightenment, places strong confidence in human reason, science, and rational thinking. It believes that objective truth exists and scientific methods are the best way to understand the world and improve human life. However, postmodernism arose as a reaction to these ideas. It challenges the dominance of reason and science by arguing that knowledge is not purely objective, but is influenced by social, cultural, psychological, and historical factors. Thinkers such as Thomas Kuhn and other social constructivists show that science itself can be shaped by human interest and power structure. One of the key features of postmodernism is relativism, which rejects the ideas of absolute truth. While this encourages openness to multiple perspectives, it also raises serious logical problems and conflicts with scientific practice and religious battles. Overall, this ongoing debate reminds us that understanding reality requires not only reason and science but also the awareness of human value, society, and lastly, belief systems.